Hello and welcome to the NASDAQ Marketsite in Times Square. I'm Jane King. With me today, Peter Chun, the founder and CEO of Silverbear Holdings. So
Yes.
welcome.
Good morning,
to see
Jane.
you again, and always interesting to get your insight on what's going on in Asia, particularly China. It's been in the news a lot lately, all these tariffs, the back and forth. Guys, give me your overall take of what you're thinking about all these.
Well, I mean, the Chinese are reacting to the tariffs policies, obviously. We're seeing on the other end of the stick that actually China might have benefit from this policy.
Interesting. So how would that work?
Well, basically, what happened in the past is China and U.S. trade, they buy and sell, they export and import. Now, because of the tariffs policies, China is moving the goalposts a little bit, and they're starting to work with emerging market countries like Egypt, like Jordan, who has a very close association with the U.S., meaning they all have what we call an FTA agreement, free trade agreement between them. So whatever product are being made in that country will be tax-free, export back to U.S.
Okay. Well, it's interesting because I was telling an earlier guest that I talked to my family who was all farmers back in Indiana, and they said, well, China's buying U.S. soybeans out from Brazil.
Correct.
And so it's kind of still, this trade things are really complicated. But are you optimistic that something will work out?
Well, the tariff policy won't work out like overnight. I'm sure the numbers are staggering every day and is accumulating every day as we speak. But what I've just said about the Emerging Market Country Association would give China a new window with making new friends who are existing friends with the U.S. So politically, it gives China a whole new window as to how they should strategically position themselves in the world trading environment.
Right. They may not have looked to those countries in the past because they had this deal with the U.S., but now they're like, well, hey, let's look at some alternatives and maybe we can do business with these other countries.
They're making friends, definitely.
Can you give us some insight into the culture? Would you think that there might be some backroom talks that might be happening so all these leaders that are dealing can save face a little bit?
I'm sure there is, because I think what happened was it started all with there is debt in the U.S. and China, being a very, very friendly ally, had actually lent U.S. money. However, this would have to continue if China would have to sustain the currency with the RMB, because every single time the RMB get hit, they have to buy actually more U.S. dollars to sustain them. And again, that goes back to some economics between U.S. and China, and obviously one major component would be the tariff policies, which are being imposed to actually try to stay balanced in between the two countries. That's basically the ecosystems. Basically, the two countries are trying to play over it. The backroom talk has to happen, because otherwise, this will just means this vicious circle will just continue to a spot whereby actually we would no longer benefit the two countries, but somebody else would benefit from the two superpower not working together.
Now, Jack Ma says this will be 20 years before this is all said and done as the negotiation. Do you agree with that? Will it take that long?
Well, I mean, unless something really different had happened, if you just basically do a pro forma on what's going on, yes, probably 20 years, but I'm sure there would be some solutions between them.
Yeah. Well, you'd think so, right? There'd be some steps of negotiation. We wouldn't be where we are for 20 years.
No. That's not how the Chinese thinks.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you so much, Peter. It's hugely complicated, but thanks for your insight.
Thank you, Jane.
Yeah, and thank you as well for joining us. I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ Marketsite. Have a great day.